Hi everyone, welcome to ASP.NET Core MEC tutorial. If you are watching this tutorial right from the beginning, then at this point I assume that your machine is ready for the development of ASP.NET Core MEC 3.1 applications. Since the machine is ready and the developer is ready, so in this video we will learn how can we create our first ASP.NET Core MEC project with the help of Visual Studio and with the help of .NET CLI. Let's have a look on the agenda of this video. In this video we will learn how to create first ASP.NET MEC Core project using Visual Studio. Visual Studio is the main editor of ASP.NET Core MEC. So in this video we will learn how can we create a project with the help of Visual Studio. .NET Core 3 is supported in at least Visual Studio 2019. So if you have any previous version of Visual Studio, then the .NET Core 3 might not work on that Visual Studio. To work with .NET Core 3.0, you must have Visual Studio 2019, or you can use some other editors that we will see in the later part of this video. We can also create our first ASP.NET Core MEC project with the help of .NET CLI. So in this video you will learn how to create new project with the help of .NET CLI. We will run the application from both the editors, from Visual Studio and .NET CLI. So without wasting time, let's open the Visual Studio and let's see how can we create our first ASP.NET MEC Core application with the help of Visual Studio. So this is my Visual Studio 2019, and here on the left side you can see all the open recent projects. So since this is a new installed Visual Studio, so I do not have anything on the left side. Here on the right side you will see there are multiple options: clone or checkout code. Clone or checkout code. This option is required when you have a working repository on a particular server and you want to clone the code from that repository to your local system. But we are not doing anything like that. We simply have to create first application. So here you can see we have a menu, create new project. You can simply click on this button, create a new project. Then here on the right side you will see all the templates, all the frameworks which are installed in your Visual Studio. All those frameworks will be listed over here. So since we have installed .NET Core, so you have to search for ASP.NET Core Web Applications. So here we have ASP.NET Core Web Applications. So just select this one and click on the next button. Here you have to enter the name of your project. So suppose I'm writing first MEC Core app. Then you have to choose a location for the storage of all the files of this project. By default, this one is selected. If you want to update it, then you can click on this button and you can choose a location for this project. Then we have to enter the name of our solution. By default, the name of the solution will be same as the project name. But if you want to update it, then you can enter the updated name over here. Place solution and project in the same directory. If you want to put solution and project in the same directory, then you can click on the checkbox. Let's leave all the things default and let's click on this create button. Remember, we are creating ASP.NET Core web application. As you can see here on the top title, we can see create a new ASP.NET Core web applications. So here we have to choose the framework of .NET Core which we are targeting for this current application. Okay, so if you will click on this drop down, then you will see all the SDKs which are installed in your system that will be available over here in this drop down. If you have installed all the versions of .NET Core SDK, then you will see all the versions over here. If you have just installed only .NET Core 3.1, then you will see only .NET Core 3.1. Since I have installed 2.1 and 3.0 as well, so I can see three options over here. But if you have installed only one version, that is 3.1, then you might see only one option over here. So remember, we have to choose the latest one, which is 3.1 in our scenario. So let's select this one. So we are creating the web application and we have selected the framework. Now it's time to choose the template. What is the meaning of template? A template is basically a structure, or we can say skeleton of the project with some default functionalities. We will go into the details at later part of this tutorial, but right now just focus on these templates. First, empty. So as it is clear from the name that this is going to be a complete empty project, there will be nothing inside this project. Then we have one more template, API. So if you are going to create web APIs with the help of .NET Core web application, then you can click on this API template and you can choose this one, web applications. So here you can see in the description as well a project template for creating an ASP.NET Core application with example ASP.NET Razor page content. In ASP.NET Core web framework, we can create our web application with the help of Razor pages as well. But in this tutorial, we are targeting only MVC applications. So we have to choose this template, web application model view controller, that is MVC. So here we have to choose this template. Okay. Then on the right side you can see we have authentication. So at this point we do not have any information, any knowledge about the authentication. So we will be using no authentication. If you want to use some other type of authentication, then you can click on the change button, and all the options which are related to authentication that will be available over here. For now, let's choose no authentication. Then we have some advanced options like configure for HTTPS. If you want to configure your project for HTTPS, means when you will run the project, then in the URL of the browser you will see HTTPS. If you are going to remove this one, then you will see the default protocol is HTTP instead of HTTPS. If you want to enable the Docker support, then you can click on the checkbox. For now, let's uncheck this configure for HTTPS also, since we are going to create only first sample application. And let's click on this create button. Here you can see our first project has been created successfully in Visual Studio. Without watching on the files, I am going to simply click on this button to run this project. So here you can see we have an option IIS Express. If you have some other option, just like the name of your solution, so you might also have this type of option as well. You can choose any one of them. We will see the difference in some later part. So for now, let's focus on this IIS Express and let's click on this button. By default, it will open your default browser and the application will be working in your default browser. Once you will click on this button, then you will see Visual Studio will build your project. So here you can see on the output window we have build started. So build has been started, and for the first time if any package is required for this application, then those packages will get installed in this project, and if build is successful, then you will see your working application in the browser. Here you can see we have a working application in the browser. Let's test this application. If I click on this, then you can see that we got the home page. Let's click on this home. These two links are targeting to single page. That is why you can see there is no change in this page. But we have one more link which is privacy. Let's click on this one. And now you can see the URL has been updated in the browser as well as the content of this website has been updated. So we have a very nice application over here. First, MVC Core app. If I click on this, then we got the home page. If I click on the privacy, then we got this privacy page. This is the header of this application, as you can see. Then we have the body part of this application. The data will be replaced over here. Then we have the footer. At the footer, we have some little bit information. 2020 first MVC Core app. Okay. Let's make some change in the code and let's see whether it is reflecting on this website or not. If you have some knowledge about MVC framework, then you can simply see we have all the controllers over here in this controller folder. All the models will be available here in this models folder. All the views are available in this views folder. If you are completely new to MVC framework and you do not have any knowledge about MVC, then do not worry. In the next video, we will discuss all these things one by one in very detail. For now, let's open this views folder. Let's expand it. Then here you will see we have the shared folder, and let's click on this layout file. Don't focus on the files and folders. Simply I just want to make some change in the code so that we can say the reflection on the website. And here you can see we have the anchor tag, and this is the name that was reflecting as the application name on this website. I want to change the name. Suppose I'm writing here WebGentle app, and to run this application again, if you want to run this in the debug mode, then you can click on this one. You can also press F5 button from your keyboard. If you do not want to run your application in debug mode, then you can simply press Ctrl F5. Okay, so let's click on this button. Now you can see the name of this application has been updated, WebGentle app. At this place, we are simply creating our first application and we are trying to run that application in the browser. So here we can see the application is working fine from Visual Studio. Let's stop this application and let's close this Visual Studio. Now at the second point, we will learn how can we create a new .NET Core application from .NET CLI. To create a new application with the help of .NET CLI, first you have to open a folder in your local system. Suppose I am inside this E drive and where I have a folder .NET Core MEC 3.1. I want to create some project of .NET Core with the help of .NET CLI at this location. So I have to open the command prompt over here, and to simply open the command prompt, I can click over here and simply enter CMD, press enter. If you are using some other type of operating system just like the Linux and the Mac, then you can open any command line tool that you have installed in your system. Choose a new folder inside your command line tool and you are ready to create your first application with the help of CLI. To create a new application with the help of .NET CLI, we have to type a command. First we have to type .NET, then we are going to create a new application. So we will write new space, we have to write the name of the template. It means what type of template we want to use for this current application. Since in the Visual Studio we were having a complete list of all the templates, so that was easy to choose from that list. So at this place we do not have a list over here. So how can you choose a name for that particular template? It is very easy in .NET Core. Without writing the name of the template, at this point where we have the command .NET space new, we can simply press enter. If you will click enter over here, then you will see all the details which are related to .NET Core. Welcome to .NET Core 3.1. This is the version. SDK version is this one, 3.1.101. Then some details are available over there. If you want to run some commands, then you can see the list of all the commands also over here. You can read the shortcut version, and here is the description of this particular command. Then if you will scroll down a little bit, then you will see we have a complete list of all the templates. So here is the name of the template, then we have the short name, language and the tags. So if I want to create a new console application with the help of CLI, then I have to choose console template. So for this particular template, you have to use this name. For console application, I have to write only console. If I want to create a class library project, then I have to type class lib. And the default programming language is listed here in this square bracket. So for all these projects, the default programming language will be C#. Okay, so let's focus on our template, model view controller, and here you can see we have ASP.NET Core web app. So basically we are going to create web application, so we have web app. Then the template type is model view controller. And what is the short name for this particular MVC template? It is MVC, very short name. So let's type the command again. So we have .NET space new space. I can type the name of the template. The name of the template is MVC. If you will press enter over here, then all the files and folders will be created in the current folder. But if you want to give your project a meaningful name, then you can simply use -- name and name of your application. First MVC app. Let's press enter. So here you can see we have some message. The template ASP.NET Core web app was created successfully. This template contains technologies from parties other than Microsoft. So some details about this template. So first the template will be created for you, then all the packages which are required for that template, that will be restored. So here you can see we have the command running .NET restore. So this command is used to restore all the packages for a particular application, and while creating a new project, the CLI will automatically run this command to store all the packages. Restore succeed. Now let's see what change we got in our folders. So here we got one new folder, first MVC app. If I open this one, then you can see we have lots of folders and some files. Let's open this code in the Visual Studio Code, or you can use any other editor of your choice. So here we have all the folders: controller, model, obj, properties, views, www. So let's not focus on the folders and the files. Now we have to simply run this application, and to run this application I will be using .NET command. So I can open the terminal over here, or you can use the same command prompt. Now we have to run this project, and to run this project I have opened this terminal, and here in the terminal we have to write a command to run this application. You can either use a terminal of this Visual Studio Code, or you can use the same command line tool or the command prompt to run this application. So here we have to enter the command, which is .NET space run, and press enter. So first it will build the solution, and once the build will be successful, then you will see your application in the browser. So since the build is successful, here you can see we got a new folder which is bin. So all the DLLs have been created inside this bin folder. Okay, so here we got one more folder. Required assets to build and debug are missing from first MVC app. Add them. If you want to run your application directly from Visual Studio by pressing F5, then you can click on this yes button, and all the asset which is required to build and debug this project, that will be added inside your solution. And what will be the change? Here on the folder structure you will see that a new folder will be generated for you with the name .vs, and there will be some files inside that folder. But for now we got some message on the terminal. So the application is working now listening on this URL. So we have 5001 and 5000 port. Let's click on any one of them. Since the application is running on HTTPS, so I have to click on this advanced and proceed to localhost. We can change the setting later in the code, but for now let's focus on the application in the browser. So similarly, just like the application from Visual Studio, we got a brand new website over here as well. So we have the name, home home menu, we have the privacy, and everything is working fine as expected. Let's make some change in the code so that we can have updated name over here in this application. To update the name, we have to click on this views folder, then we have shared folder and the layout file. Okay, inside this layout file, don't focus on the code, simply focus on this line and update this text. Let's save the changes and go back to the browser and refresh the page. So we are not getting the live update from the code over here in this application. This is because there is some change in the .NET Core 3.1 that we will see in some later part. To reflect these changes, we have to stop this application. We can stop the application by pressing Ctrl C, and then we will run this application again. So let's close this application from this browser also. Let's save all the changes and let's run .NET space run command again. Let's press enter. So application is running again on these links. Now you can see we have the updated name of the application over here, WebGentle space app, and everything is working fine just like the previous application. Let's close this browser and let's shut down the application. So we can simply press Ctrl C to stop this application. So by using these two ways you can create .NET Core application. For the development you can either use Visual Studio or you can use some other editors, and you can use all the commands from .NET CLI. Remember, if you will create your application with the help of CLI, then you will see there is no solution file. So here is the code and you will see there is no solution file. So if you have created a project with the help of .NET CLI and wants to open that project in Visual Studio, then you have to add a new solution file inside your project and add that solution file to this csproj file of this particular project. Then only you will be able to open this solution inside Visual Studio, because Visual Studio Code does not need a solution file to open a particular project. Visual Studio Code simply need a folder, and here we will make some changes, and with the help of command lines we will work on the application. So this was the purpose of this video. We have learned how to create first application with Visual Studio with CLI, and we have also learned how can we run that application from Visual Studio and by using .NET CLI. That is all in this video. I hope after watching this video you will be able to create your first application from Visual Studio and from command line tool also. If you have created your application, then let me know in the comment section what editor have you used for your application, Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code, or if you are using some other editor also, then you can also let me know in the comment section. If you are facing any problem to create a new application, then you can ask your queries in the comment section as well. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.